Kelly, before I get to you, I want to read the statement that we're getting in from New York Attorney General Letitia James, in which she says, "I am heartened by today's victory and grateful for the prayers and support I have received from around the country." She goes on, "I remain fearless in the face of these baseless charges as I continue fighting for New Yorkers every single day." Help put this moment in context for us, Kelly.
Good to be with you, Yasmin. This is really a huge setback for the president and his view of how he can push the Department of Justice to go after his perceived political enemies. Letitia James, the Attorney General, a Democrat in New York, has been someone who has drawn the ire of the president for a long time. She won a significant judgment against him and his family business in New York. James Comey has been an outspoken critic of the president since he left the job as FBI director. He was fired by Donald Trump. This is about President Trump using his power in ways that a court has now said exceeded his authority. As we heard the details from our colleagues about the 120-day rule, this means a personally selected attorney who had been an insurance attorney and a staffer in the White House, never a prosecutor, was installed in this position because the president wanted her to be there. The court finds that they did not follow the law in how that was done, and then everything that comes from it is now tossed aside. Now, as we have been discussing, it is possible because of the way this was dismissed, the charges could be brought again. But that takes us back to why was Lindsay Halligan installed in the first place? Because career prosecutors who had reviewed this material in both cases, did James Comey lie to Congress? Did he obstruct their process? Did Letitia James seek favor in her mortgage rate that was a financial benefit to her? Other prosecutors reviewed that and did not seek those charges. So it's a real question about can these cases go forward. But the big picture in this moment is that the president and his approach to using the powers of his office has been rebuked by a judge, and that is a significant factor. These are two public rivals of the president who are now scoring at least a temporary win, and the president will certainly respond to this. But this is a significant rebuke of how President Trump views his use of the Department of Justice, how Attorney General Bondi conducted herself by appointing Lindsay Halligan. So these are big, far-reaching themes in the use of executive power in the Trump White House. And that applies to many other topics in many other areas. Today we're talking about 2 indictments, but it is significant.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.